Well, here we go in meme review number 3 installment here. We're at the 4th of July weekend, and I expect that there will be a few memes about that, but let's just see. If there's not, I'll sure say one. Um, Evidently, I hired the world's worst pilot to express my love for my fiancee, Doris. Let's see. His name is Gary, and her name. You need to make sure you write your D better and tighten up your O. Yeah, tighten up your O. I brought brownies for all my coworkers, not really because I was being nice, but because I heard they were going to do drug testing and I didn't want to be the only dirty one, so unless they plan on firing everyone, I think I'm good. This is a shout out to the old days when you said you were sleeping over at a friend's house, but you were really out in the field dying of alcohol poisoning and your parents couldn't track your phone location, much less ask you for a selfie to prove anything. Ah, the good old days. But then again, it really was much more innocent than people would think in that time. Black people, do you realize how corrupt the police are? People from Mexico and many other countries. Liberal privilege, believing you have a right to control other people's lives. Number 2, believing that you have the right to never hear other opinions. Number 3, believing that when you're offended, others have to care. And number 4, believing that there are 2 sets of rules, one for you and one for all those other people. Let that sink in. The left, a differing opinion. Is this racism? No, but it's the only comeback they have whenever they're caught. Oh, just like the good old days back in Chicago, here's the Democrats. What are they doing? They're harvesting dead people's ballots. Yeah, I know somebody who got an absentee ballot type thing in the mail, a mail-in ballot thing, and he's not going to go mail in anything, and it's not in his name. Just pushed right out there. The only one I've heard of, though. Have y'all heard of one? I'm shadow banned by Twitter. Well, actually, I'm shadow banned by YouTube. Quarantined by Reddit. Suspended by Facebook. Downranked by YouTube. Suppressed by Google. And you're saying that I should worry that revoking Section 230 will lead to online censorship? That's one thing. It's already quite in play. If you thought that there was free speech in America, it's really under attack now, and there has to be a fight back against it, or we're going to fall down that rabbit hole. And everybody sees us standing there at the edge of a rabbit hole and be like, why are you standing at the edge of a fucking rabbit hole? Hello? And people keep walking up and going, where? Let me get around you. I want to be first to fall down the rabbit hole. This has got to be the worst rabbit hole ever. Let me jump down that. Let me ask you a question. When was it ever possible in American history that someone would say a statement like, make America great again, and it would be tried to twist somehow into a racist slogan? Think about that. For if any president took over now and he was the, oh man, it could be a lesbian black woman, half Asian, and if she was to say the exact same words, it supposedly would be exactly different. Isn't that odd? But in this depiction, there's even a little black kid who's smart enough to see through it, and we can see that there are a lot of black adults who can't see through the hypocrisy of everything happening and the pandering. I cover my face to show my submission to God. Me too. Big Tech Fascism Update. Facebook advertising boycott list. What? They are halting, companies are halting ads, include Unilever, Coca-Cola, Verizon, Ben and Jerry's. Somebody made a video and I looked at it for a minute. I can't watch too much of this crap, and whenever I do, you find me doing something like this. But there was a list. There was hundreds of people that are advertisers who have stopped their ads. Then there was the next list, which was people who have said now they're not going to advertise. Now, they may not have even been advertisers, so you can't take too much creed in this, right? And you look at it, and some of them have got to be mom and pop shops and things like that. But other ones are well-known businesses. And supposedly this is put out by people, CEOs and stuff. And it's like huge, huge, huge pages and pages and pages. And it's just names. And just like not pandering to this crap. Not pandering to this crap. And it's on an open thing and in there. And so no one's come from any of those businesses in over a week, 10 days now, and said, no, that's not where we stand or anything whatsoever. Yeah, now that's so far. Who knows what's going to happen next, right? But, you know, a lot of times that happens, pow, right off the bat. But no, doesn't happen. So make no mistake, Facebook is already perhaps the worst tool of big tech fascism. It's being pushed by liberal fascists because they aren't censoring enough. That's what they try to say this, that they aren't censoring enough. That they aren't calming down anything that they don't want to hear as their talking point. Which is exactly against what America was founded on. So some people are becoming the enemy within. And currently, oh my God, it's the Democrats and everything in the left and what they seem to grasp. And they've been exposed because they're literally trying to do anything they can to try to discredit our current president, who's doing pretty good in the face of them trying to have a witch hunt at the same time and a constant pandering out to people. I'm guessing their only hope is to eventually get people to go, well, we'll vote the other way if you'll just shut up. No, look how sad that would be. You couldn't put up with it just a little bit more and you're willing to ruin the world. Wouldn't it be sad if we looked at it like that? Not too far in the future. There'll be some statements like, well, and then everything was going along fine until, maybe I should make a series of that. Do you think that the boycotters give a shit about curbing inaccurate political speech from the left? You see so much of it, does it look like any of it's curbed whatsoever? They come out and they're just screaming and saying stuff like, oh, kill white people, just anything. And that's just fine and dandy. Fine and dandy. No, we have free speech here. And then you go, well, let me make a video about that. And then you make a video about it, pause, and you go, da-da-da-da-da, and banned. And it's like, what the hell? That's hate speech. Hate speech seems to be anything against the thing that you really like. It's so transparent. It's kind of like you have a favorite football team, and if anybody says anything about it, banned. Hopefully America's waking up. We're going to have to redo media. Yeah. Well, it's already turned into a whole thing, and people are, oh, the internet ruined the whole thing. Yeah, it did, didn't it? It let people have enough knowledge to turn around and go, look, you're fake news and telling lies. And then we had our president come right out and show everybody. And that set off some people. Who? Oh, people that try to propagate fake news. See how that, isn't that amazing? No curd checks or fact checking will ever be done on their speech. Big tech will continue only to censor conservative libertarians and freethinkers. Expect Mark Zuckerberg to cave within days. Yep. So here's the speech that goes on. Does Facebook censor conservative speech? No, we censor hate speech. Well, what's hate speech? In their view, it's conservative speech. Wakey, wakey. Coffee for the soul. Are you now, or have you ever been, a conservative? What? It's that thing when you know you've posted enough truth and are waiting to be taken to Facebook jail. Yeah, it's a Shawshank Redemption. You have half a second to decide. Everybody wake up. This is what you have, a half second to decide here. Something's happening. It's life-threatening to you. All of a sudden, the test question, shoot or don't shoot. This is what you're facing. Shoot or don't shoot. If he starts shooting, shoot or don't shoot. I know you're thinking now, well, he's got a gun and the cop apparently has the taser. Well, it could have gone this way easily. But instead, he had the taser because the top cop was only going to try to tase him, and he told him 3 times, and then the guy grabbed it from him, ran off, and tried to shoot him in the head with it from about this distance. Everybody acts like, well, he got away enough, and it's like, oh, so does there get to be, I get to beat the cops up and everything, be drunk in a drive-thru, all that's totally cool. As long as I get to touch base, I can even rear back and shoot him in the head. Oh, they shot him in the back. It's going to happen, but he's also shooting at you right now. Sad thing is that taser probably will not make it through that thick coat and get attachment, but that gun looks like it probably will make contact if it even fits the body line. Well, he should have tased him. Well, he didn't have the taser. The guy beat him up and took it. If he would have stood there and tried to start shooting him with the taser, oh, well, that's okay. But if he runs after beating the cop up, and see, none of this is going to work out great. Did you know that he was out on a COVID release? He's not supposed to be out of prison for beating children. They said it was his second DWI he was about to get, and of course, that's going back. He didn't want to do that, so he decided he would make himself the hero of the black people. James Woods, you know, the actor, they hate him now because he'll come out on topics and say something. He's opinionated, and not the bad opinionated. Oh no. Yep, they can't even spell it, but they want it. It kind of shows you the ideal of the low IQ people that are involved in this. And the BLM thing, you know, the recent primitives have an extreme problem, but nobody wants to talk about that. They want to make it someone else's problem and issue. Well, they've got to fix it because they're the only ones that can, those Caucasians. They do everything, and so now it's just a pity party. None of this looks good, but they want it so badly. Why do people refuse to research anything yet demand that they spoon feed them back proof? Then you give them the proof and they don't even read it. Then they say, well, that's not a reliable news source. That's not a reliable doctor, or they always have an excuse why they stick to their talking points. I ran into the same thing whenever I started showing ancient cultures. That's what I started doing with my channel. And maybe something that you didn't know. Did you know that they don't know quite how Alexander the Great died? Did you know this? Did you know that? Did you know the Sumerians invented writing? Although everybody still says it's the Egyptians, but then the writing that we use today in phonetics is the Phoenicians, who called themselves Canaan, and that kind of clears that up. Things like that. Well, I made one about the Egyptians, who were Caucasians, blue-eyed from the pre-dynastic all the way through, and instantly they told me that I had to tell them proof while they gave me nothing. And they even gave me a list. And after just a couple of vids, the guy admitted that they didn't even know Egypt existed, but I still had to finish the list off for all the other ones. And lo and behold, he was right. For the next vid I made, which wasn't even about anything, one of these trolls jumps in and started trying to say something about it, and it was totally not even related to Africa, Egypt, anything whatsoever. Totally. Way up in Proto-Indo-European lands and Tartaria and stuff, and the guy tried to tell me I didn't know anything. It was hilarious. And I didn't know anything about Tartaria because black people were the Egyptians, he said, and here we go and stuff. And, it's just a trolling, teasing kind of thing. It's gone past hilarious. A nation that forgets its past has no future, Winston Churchill says. And, of course, a nation that turns around and tries to destroy the couple of monuments that are around on it and say that that did something, really it didn't do anything. You'd have to go another way. You have to get all big brother about it and say that you can't talk about Lincoln anymore, who didn't want the slaves to stay. Yeah, I had that in one of my things I had to prove and stuff. And so well, no, I'm sorry, I mentioned it in a video in one of the proofs, and then somebody said that I had to prove that, and I just copied and pasted Lincoln's speech. And he really didn't like that. And he said, how come I was lied to in school? And I said, I don't know what you were taught in school, but it may not be the truth, and I'm sorry for that. Then the next person chimed in and said, don't ever apologize for something you had nothing to do with. And I go, well, you're right, but, the world right now, going down like a Titanic. Superman, Caucasian, save me. American, Caucasian, super savior, save me, save me. But yet, people are making memes. And I'm talking about them. That might have to change here shortly, guys, and I'm kind of realizing that. Just realize there's never been an easier time for teenagers to buy beer with fake ID. Oh, that doesn't look like me? Really? You can't tell just from the eyes? No, I will not take my mask off. Me social distancing this summer, not even for safety, just because I'm sick of everyone's shit. These are out on one of those incredible paddle boards. It's Caucasians made. It's super floating material. That's another material that Caucasians made it float. And he's got his feet on that red part there. It's super sticky material Caucasians had made. So it's kind of like a scuba material, wetsuit, but different. And it's even if it's totally wet, it's not stickable. I mean, you stick right to it and everything, because you never know when there might be a shark in the water around and everything. But there's this guy. Oh, that's a Caucasian. You may not be able to tell until you look right here where his pants meet his leg, and it got pulled up where it hasn't gotten that good suntan, and he's at that good Egyptian red ochre type color, and it's very light. Yeah, the Egyptians used red ochre males and pale females, and so did the Greeks, and so did Mitanni, Minoans, and everybody else, and I don't know why they try to pull some stupid crap, but it's disgusting. But we're past that. Here's a guy who lives in this neighborhood for almost 7 years, and he picks up hundreds of beer cans and bottles from this ditch right here, and he's never cared until now. Drink real beer, don't drink it all, and he found in the duels, and he's like, come on. Oh my God. Let's be honest, this isn't even the weirdest thing we've seen in 2020. Yep, somebody who's actually taken and ruined an umbrella to put it on backwards. They're not 6 foot away in social distancing. It was amazing. Do you remember that moment in American history where they tried to make it to where everybody had to social distance and do everything? And then this lady went to go give somebody a haircut and they locked her up in jail. And then they had to let her out because why? Well, because they looked stupid. And on top of that, the news was already geared up because protests had started right after she went to jail, and they were acting like it's fantastic to no longer quarantine and social distance and everything, and it's just fantastic. Protesters are fantastic, and then Trump said, okay, so I guess it's all over. I'll go ahead and have a rally. It's the same thing, except for I'm not hating and burning down stuff. Is that cool? And they went off on him crazy like he was trying to kill grandma. And they kept praising the people that were not social distancing. They even came out. I hope there's a meme on it, but they came out in one news place. A guy made a video about this. One news place one day was talking about how Trump bad and all the thing and no social distancing and everything, and then the next day was literally about how the people that were protesting it made COVID go away. Now, somehow it depends on what you're saying now because they tried to say one day that Trump's rallies made it go up. But the other type of rallies and burning and everything made everybody go away. Now, their logic, other people who are already locked up were not going outside and therefore not passing it on. And it's like, well, they already weren't. So all the people outside are doing the thing, they should be breaking out with it. And the fact that they're not shows you that it was all bullshit and that we've been going about this totally the wrong way. And America has set itself off for 3 months or more of financial hardship and all kinds of things due to this directive that got pushed. And of course, they keep turning around and trying to blame it on Trump whenever he initially started saying, well, we ought to shut down travel from places, and they went off on him. Oh, you're a racist. Yeah, it's terrible. Dude, the only difference between a black girl and a white girl is when a black girl asks you if their ass looks big, you say, hell yeah. Yeah, whenever I was a kid, the women used to go around asking if their ass looked big, and you were all supposed to tell them that it didn't. And they would get these special jeans, and they could barely get into them. And my sister had to lay on the bed and use a coat hanger or a pair of pliers to try to pull up her pants and everything because they're just so tight. People aren't doing that anymore and everything. But yeah, it's funny how it changes. But that was just because in the 60s we went through a Twiggy thing because women were supposed to be more voluptuous right before that and all the way through. Look at old Venus things, and you think Venus is all frail, but back in old caveman times and everything, they were trying to get a woman fat. They actually realized when a woman became a mother and all that stuff that she got big, and they were embracing that. But oh my gosh, the way everything has gotten changed, it's oh. Why does COVID-19 keep spreading, says the mainstream media? People are going to the beach. People are going to church. People are going to protests. They don't like him and they want to throw him out the window. Hmm. Hmm. I saw where they tried to arrest people on a beach. Of course, everybody was way more than 6 foot apart on the beach. So you can stand in your house or stand on a beach and it doesn't matter because you're more than 6 foot apart. But no, that doesn't work. So they tried to do church 6 foot apart and make it where everybody had to leave in single file more than 6 foot apart and turn it into this crazy thing. But most churches, including one my wife watches, is online now, although they started back up. But they're not bad. But if they go to a Trump rally, they're bad. If they're protesting, they're great. And they shouldn't be any concern about it. No one sees the hypocrisy of any of this and how stupid it all seems. And so do they get embarrassed and quit? Oh no. They lean into it. They go, well, if people are being duh, like old Donkey Face here, then they should continue to be duh. I think people are hoping that because of that non social distancing, all those idiots would get COVID and they'd thin themselves out naturally. Imagine being one of those kids' parents, like the one that just got killed the other day. Give me one reason somebody would ever need a 30-round clip. Well, I can give you quite a few, but how about everything in the last week? Hmm. Here's an old man talking to a little SJW warrior. Hitler liked burning bricks too. Who's Hitler? Throwing American history away. Yeah, do they make? I don't know if I have any real young people watching now and everything. Let me know your age and tell me. You know, you got to be pretty young. Don't tell me you were 35 and we did it, because when I was in school, we learned 1984 George Orwell, and it was weird, but it was in English class, and you were taught not to fuck up the world. Are you do they even study George Orwell's 1984 or anything anymore? See, when I graduated, it was right around the time of 1984, and it was just in your face, and they were like, it was almost like we made it, but yet they made a clear point: don't screw up. And it was kind of like the Terminator movie, where they go, okay, we're making all these computers smart, but look what could happen, so don't ever do that. And people are going, oh, AI is what we should go into, and it's like, oh, anything but that. But because it's at odds with who we are, yeah, they're going to pull down the statue of the thinker because it's racist next, because what white people thought. Don't you understand? White people made statues like this. It was Caucasians that made bronze in the first place and started mining metals, passed it to everybody and shared with everybody along with everything else, like the things that you're listening to me on right now. But they're bad. Third worlder, hate, jealous, fantastic. Nothing should be done about jealous, hate, fantastic. White man bad. Right. Just wear the mask. Time passes. Just let the government track your location. Time passes. Just let them inject you. Time passes. Just give them your gun. Time passes. Just get in the boxcar. At what point do you say no? Well, they've said the mask was great, then it wasn't, then it doesn't do anything, and then somebody showed me that on the premium mask, it even says right on the box, doesn't help. Well, listen. Here's what I figured out. If you have COVID, if you have a mask on and you cough, that helps out people within 6 foot of you. If you don't have it, it doesn't matter. Some people don't know whether they have it or not, so everybody should put on a mask. Yeah, all this track you big brother bullshit. Wonder what's going to be in that new injection. No, you're not getting our guns. That's the thing the Constitution's writ on. Quit trying to ruin the Constitution. We're the best country in the world. The people that want to hate on it need to go away to someplace else where they do the kind of crap you're doing. Then if you want to try to fight a war with us, we're more than down to go down with it, because we're not playing that shit. Then you'll cry about how white man in his superior airplane goes zoom, zoom, boom, boom. And we'll yawn. Let's get this peaceful protester's view on the George Floyd murder. Who's George Floyd? Well, they don't know. Oh, well, George Floyd, he was this guy that's gone to prison for 7 years for pistol whipping a lady that was pregnant, holding a gun to her belly that was pregnant at the time, and trying to get drugs and money out of her and other stuff. And I think it was in some porn somebody tried to say, but that could just be BS. Then, of course, he's on meth, and his heart couldn't take it, and he had a panic attack. They said he stood on his throat and choked him out. And if you think it takes 8.5 minutes to choke somebody out, you're stupid as that brick this guy's holding right now. And yeah, Antifa got in and just took that whole thing over, didn't they? Yeah, yeah. And they just keep repeating that phrase, and everything's okay, right? Mexican word of the day, noose. NASCAR said they found a rope in the 43 garage, but that is fake news. Yep. The sad thing about that is, after he did it, or after they propped it all up and did it, then the FBI came out and goes, no, that's been there. They're on every single one of those. It's just the pull rope that pulls down the thing, and that's quite silly and sad that this got done while everybody in the stands had to do this thing, and they pushed his car around and played out this whole pandering ceremony, which all people said now it looks quite set up. Jesse Smollett and so on. He doubled down. In fact, Don Lemon tried to get him out of it, it seemed, because he was like, well, but it was the secret double play here. He said the FBI said it wasn't a noose and everything, so what do you got to say about that? And he doubled down and said, I know what a noose is. I saw it. It's funny. You said you didn't see it and these other people saw it, so you never saw it. But then when they asked him to double down, he goes, I saw it and it was a noose. Whenever it's not. See? The Dixie Chicks are now just the Chicks. Doesn't that sound feminist? But, oh, what did she do to her hair? These two girls were pretty. I thought whenever they came out, there was these twins that we had in high school, and I went out with one of them a little bit, but they were both so pretty. And one of them ended up getting disabled due to something that happened. Don't want to go into too deep of it, but I always thought these two girls looked very much like them. What happened to the elf freak? Who gives a shit? Well, really, yeah, I'm guessing so, because they were irrelevant. Seems to me I remember they came out against Bush or something and started throwing a fit, and everybody just tossed them under the bus. That they haven't paid off yet in their tour. Breaking. Bubba Wallace finds KKK uniforms draped over the bed in his hotel room. Oh, it's just sheets and pillowcases. Flashback reminder. Democrats. Then Democrat now. Let's see what this says. Democrats then burned down historic churches. Democrats now burns down a historic church. Democrats wore masks to hide their shame. If you want to look into that was in the KKK, it was Democrats. And who was